Chapter 10. The Weight of Expectations. Learning to carry only what's yours. At some point in life, we all come face to face with the weight of expectations, some spoken, some unspoken, some so deeply ingrained that we don't even realize we're carrying them. They come from family, culture, society, and even past versions of ourselves. They whisper in the background of our decisions, telling us who we should be, what we should want, and how we should live. For some, expectations are a source of motivation, a guiding force that pushes them forward. For others, they are a silent burden, dictating choices that don't truly belong to them. I've seen people dedicate years of their lives to chasing goals that were never truly their own, sticking to careers, relationships, or routines out of obligation rather than genuine fulfillment. And I've seen the quiet exhaustion in their eyes when they realize they have spent years climbing a ladder that was never meant for them. The real question is this: how much of what you carry is actually yours? And if you set some of it down, what might you have the freedom to pick up instead? How expectations take root. From the moment we are born, we are influenced by expectations. Some obvious, some so subtle that we internalize them before we even understand them. If you grow up in a family that values financial stability, the expectation might be that you choose a career with a predictable path. If you're the responsible one in your social circle, people may assume you will always put others first. If you succeed early in life, there may be pressure to maintain that success at all costs. These expectations are not inherently bad. In fact, they are often rooted in love, tradition, or a desire for security. But they become heavy when they leave no room for personal truth. In a 2021 global career survey by Gallup, which surveyed over 52,000 professionals across 24 countries, 58% of respondents admitted that they felt disconnected from their jobs, not because they lacked skill, but because they had pursued their careers based on societal or family expectations rather than personal conviction. Gallup 2021. State of the global workplace. How many decisions in your life have been shaped by what others expected, rather than what you truly wanted? And if you removed those expectations, what would be left? The weight of living for approval. At the core of expectations is often a deeper need, the need for approval. Humans are wired for connection. A study by Baumeister and Leary, 1995, on the belongingness hypothesis found that the desire for social acceptance is one of the most fundamental human motivators. So much so that people will sometimes make life-altering decisions just to maintain approval from their closest circles. This is why many struggle to let go of expectations. Approval feels like safety. It provides validation, belonging, and social security. But the danger is that external approval is a moving target. One achievement leading to the next, one obligation leading to another. The rise of social media has intensified this pressure. A 2022 BBC study on online validation and mental health found that people who tie their sense of self-worth to external validation, such as likes, career milestones, or social recognition, experience higher levels of anxiety and self-doubt than those who focus on intrinsic fulfillment. BBC Research 2022, The Psychology of Online Validation. Seeking approval isn't inherently wrong, but the deeper question is, are you living for applause, or are you living for yourself? Recognizing when the weight is too heavy. Expectations can be motivating, but when they become too rigid, they start to take more than they give. Recognizing when an expectation is no longer serving you is the first step in letting it go. When it feels more like obligation than desire. Does this path still excite you, or are you staying because you feel you have to? Growth requires effort, but it shouldn't feel like emotional confinement. When you keep justifying it to yourself, it's just a rough patch. Maybe I'll start enjoying it later. This is what I'm supposed to do. If you constantly have to convince yourself that something is right for you, it might not be. When fear, not passion, is driving your choices. If the only reason you're staying on a particular path is because you're afraid of disappointing others or afraid of the unknown, ask yourself, is this fear protecting me or is it keeping me stuck? When it no longer aligns with who you are becoming. Growth means evolving. It's okay to let go of an old dream if it no longer fits. Holding on to something just because it once made sense doesn't mean it still does. Redefining success on your own terms. Success is often defined by external markers, titles, income, social status. These things can be meaningful, but they only hold real value when they align with something personal. A Harvard Business Review study, 2021, found that employees who redefined their own measures of success, focusing on fulfillment rather than external metrics, reported greater long-term job satisfaction and mental well-being. Harvard Business Review, 2021. The Science of Personal Success. True success is not about ticking off someone else's checklist. It's about creating a life that feels true to you. So ask yourself, if you removed all external expectations, what would success look like for you? What pursuits make you feel alive, not just accomplished? What would you do if you weren't afraid of letting others down? The definition of success is yours to shape. How to set down the weight. Letting go of expectations doesn't mean rejecting everything you've been taught. It means making space for what is truly yours. Pause before saying yes. Before agreeing to something, whether it's a career choice, a relationship, or a commitment, ask yourself, am I saying yes because I want this, or because it's expected of me? Give yourself permission to change. You don't need a perfect reason to shift directions. It is enough to say, this no longer fits. Growth means adjusting. Find environments that support your true self. If the spaces you are in make you feel like you constantly have to prove yourself, consider whether they are the right places for you. Surround yourself with people who value you for who you are, not just for what you achieve. Trust that what's meant for you will make room for you. Walking away from something that no longer serves you doesn't mean you are lost. It means you are choosing authenticity over expectation. Final thought: writing your own story. If you take nothing else from this chapter, take this. You are not obligated to live a life that was scripted for you by someone else. That doesn't mean dismissing the wisdom of those who have guided you. It means honoring their lessons while still making choices that are your own. If you ever see me making unexpected choices, stepping away from something, changing direction, letting go of something that once mattered, it's not because I lack direction. It's because I have learned that the weight of expectations is only worth carrying if it belongs to me. Chapter 11. The Cost of Being Everything to Everyone. Somewhere along the way, many of us learn that being needed is a form of validation, that the more we do, the more we give, the more we say yes, the more valuable we are. The people who are always there, always reliable, always the ones others turn to. The world praises them. But what happens when the weight of everyone else's expectations becomes too heavy? When the effort to keep up with every role, friend, sibling, partner, employee, leader, leaves nothing left for yourself? We are taught that selflessness is a virtue, and in many ways it is. Caring for others, showing up, being dependable. These are beautiful qualities. But when does selflessness become self-erasure? And at what point does being everything to everyone mean being nothing to yourself? The invisible toll of overextension. On the surface, the ability to manage it all, career, relationships, obligations, personal ambitions, looks like strength. But what people don't see is the quiet exhaustion beneath it. A 2022 report by the World Health Organization, WHO, on burnout and overwork found that people who consistently prioritized others' needs at the expense of their own well-being had significantly higher rates of anxiety, depression, and stress-related illnesses. WHO 2022, The Global Burnout Crisis. This isn't just about professional burnout. It's about emotional exhaustion. It's about constantly being the problem solver, the listener, the one who holds it all together, only to find that when you need support, there is no one left to hold you. And yet many struggle to step back. Why? Because being needed feels like purpose. Because saying no feels like letting someone down. Because stopping feels like failing. But here's the truth. You cannot pour from an empty cup. At some point, you have to ask yourself, am I showing up for others in a way that is sustainable? Or am I giving to the point of depletion? The cycle of over-responsibility. Many who struggle with overextension don't just wake up one day and decide to take on everything. It's often a learned behavior, one rooted in childhood, culture, or societal conditioning. Psychologists call this the caregiver trap, when people tie their self-worth to how much they do for others. A 2021 study from the American Psychological Association found that individuals who felt responsible for everyone else's happiness developed higher levels of guilt, chronic stress, and emotional fatigue. APA 2021, the burden of over-responsibility. If you were raised in an environment where love was conditional, where being helpful, accommodating, or self-sacrificing was the only way to receive approval, you might have internalized the belief that your value comes from what you do, not who you are. Over time, this creates a pattern of self-neglect. You prioritize everyone else's needs before your own. You feel guilty for resting, for setting boundaries, for choosing yourself. You measure your worth by how much you can give. And the worst part? The more you give, the more people expect. Because when you train people to believe that you will always say yes, they stop questioning whether they are asking too much. When yes becomes a form of self-betrayal, there's a moment when overextension stops being generosity and starts becoming self-abandonment. When you say yes out of habit rather than genuine willingness. When you agree to things that drain you because the thought of disappointing someone feels worse than the exhaustion itself. Saying yes all the time doesn't just deplete your energy, it also dilutes your identity. If you spend your life meeting everyone else's expectations, how much of your life is actually yours? A 2022 study by Harvard Business Review found that people who consistently put others' priorities above their own struggled with a weakened sense of self, often feeling disconnected from their desires, needs, and personal aspirations. Harvard Business Review 2022, The Psychological Cost of Overcommitment. This is the silent cost of being everything to everyone. You forget how to be anything to yourself. And if that continues long enough, you might wake up one day and realize you don't even know what you want anymore. The fear of disappointing others. Many people know they need to stop overextending themselves, but they don't. Because saying no feels like a betrayal. They worry about being seen as unreliable, selfish, or ungrateful. This is particularly true for people raised in cultures that emphasize collectivism and duty over individual needs. In many households, saying no to a request from a parent, elder, or friend is unthinkable. The expectation is that you show up, no matter how much it costs you. But here's the thing. Healthy relationships do not require self-sacrifice as proof of love. There is a difference between being generous and being used. There is a difference between being dependable and being depleted. And if the only way someone will accept you is if you continue to meet their expectations at the cost of your own well-being, then perhaps it's time to ask if that relationship is built on mutual care or simply convenience. Redefining what it means to be enough. So if you've spent your life tying your value to what you can do for others, how do you start untangling yourself? It starts by rewriting the definition of your worth. Your worth is not measured by how much you give. You are valuable even when you are resting, even when you are not helping, even when you choose yourself. Boundaries are not selfish, they are necessary. Saying no to something that drains you means saying yes to your well-being. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to you. Time and energy are finite resources. Treat them as such. You are not responsible for managing everyone else's emotions. People will be disappointed. People will have opinions. But that doesn't mean you have to carry them. How to stop carrying more than you should? Letting go of over-responsibility is not about abandoning people. It's about learning to show up in a way that is sustainable. Start small. Say no to something low stakes first. Decline a meeting that isn't essential. Let someone else handle a task. Observe that the world doesn't fall apart when you set a boundary. Practice pausing before saying yes. Before agreeing to something, ask yourself, do I genuinely want to do this? Or am I just afraid of how they'll react if I say no? Make peace with disappointing people. Not everyone will understand your boundaries. That's okay. The ones who care about you will respect them. Give yourself the same care you give others. If you wouldn't let a friend or loved one burn themselves out for other people, why are you allowing it for yourself? Final thought: choosing yourself without guilt. If you take nothing else from this chapter, take this. You don't have to be everything to everyone. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. You do not have to say yes to everything just because you're capable. And if you ever see me stepping back, choosing rest, saying no to things I once said yes to, it's not because I've stopped caring. It's because I've finally learned that my well-being matters too. Questions for reflection. Where in your life are you overextending yourself, and why? Are there commitments you have made out of guilt rather than genuine willingness? How do you feel when you set a boundary? Do you allow yourself to maintain it? What would happen if you prioritized your own well-being as much as you prioritize others? What's one small step you can take this week to protect your time and energy? A quiet invitation. This week, choose yourself just once. Say no to something that drains you. Set a boundary where you need one. And see what happens when you stop carrying what was never yours to hold. Because sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is stop giving more than you can afford to lose. Chapter 12. The Myth of Balance. What we really need instead. We hear it all the time. Find balance. Balance between work and life. Balance between ambition and rest. Balance between giving to others and giving to yourself. It sounds like a noble pursuit. But if we're honest, balance is often just another impossible standard. The idea that if we just manage our time perfectly, if we schedule our priorities, set better boundaries, delegate wisely, we can have it all, effortlessly and without sacrifice. But what if balance isn't the answer? What if the pursuit of balance is making us feel more exhausted, not less? The truth is, life is never perfectly balanced. Some seasons will demand more of you than others. Some goals will require deep focus at the expense of other priorities. And sometimes, rest will need to take precedence over achievement. Maybe instead of chasing balance, we should be seeking something else entirely. Why balance is a flawed goal. On paper, balance sounds like the perfect solution. But in reality, the pursuit of balance can create more frustration than relief. A 2022 study by McKinsey & Company on work-life integration surveyed over 15,000 professionals across 20 industries. It found that 72% of respondents felt that trying to maintain perfect balance between work and personal life actually increased their stress rather than reduced it. McKinsey 2022. The illusion of work-life balance. Why? Because balance implies everything should be equal, that your time, energy, and focus should be neatly distributed across all areas of life. But that's not how real life works. Some seasons will demand more of you professionally, starting a business, launching a new project, or studying for a major certification. Some seasons will require more emotional energy, grieving a loss, supporting a loved one, or navigating personal change. Some seasons will push you toward rest, stepping back, healing, or recalibrating your priorities. When we expect balance, we set ourselves up for failure. Instead of embracing the natural ebb and flow of life, we become frustrated that we can't manage it all at once. So what should we aim for instead? Rhythms, not balance. Instead of forcing life into a perfectly balanced equation, consider thinking in rhythms. Seasons of focus, seasons of rest, seasons of change. Psychologists refer to this as cognitive shifting, the ability to transition fluidly between different mental states without guilt or resistance. APA 2021. The science of mental flexibility. It's what allows some of the most high-performing individuals to deeply immerse themselves in work when needed, then fully disengage when it's time to step away. A 2021 Harvard Business Review study on high achievers and burnout found that people who thrived long-term weren't those who tried to balance everything at once. Instead, they were those who allowed themselves to be fully present in whatever season they were in, whether that meant pouring themselves into a project or deliberately slowing down. Harvard Business Review, 2021. The key to sustainable success. This means when you work fully. Give it your focus, your effort, your best. When you rest fully. No guilt, no checking emails, no just one more task. When life shifts, shift with it. Don't force a season to be something it's not. The pressure to be everything at once is what leads to burnout. But when you work with the natural rhythms of life rather than against them, you free yourself from the myth that balance is the goal. The role of mindfulness in finding stability. If balance isn't the answer, what helps us feel more grounded in an ever-changing world? One key tool is mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment, rather than being caught up in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. Mindfulness isn't about fixing everything, it's about noticing. It's about being aware of what season you're in, what your body and mind need, and making intentional choices instead of operating on autopilot. A 2022 study published in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine found that people who practiced daily mindfulness reported lower stress levels, improved emotional resilience, and better focus on their goals. Journal of Behavioral Medicine, 2022. The impact of mindfulness on stress and well-being. Mindfulness helps you recognize when you're overextending yourself. Instead of waiting until you burn out, mindfulness allows you to check in with yourself before reaching the breaking point. Accept the natural flow of life. Instead of resisting change or feeling guilty for shifting priorities, mindfulness allows you to embrace transitions with less anxiety. Be fully engaged in whatever season you're in. When you're working, you work. When you're resting, you rest. No guilt, no overthinking. Simple ways to practice mindfulness daily. If mindfulness sounds abstract, here are simple ways to integrate it into your daily routine. Start your day with presence. Instead of checking your phone the moment you wake up, take a few deep breaths, stretch, and set an intention for the day. Take mindful breaks. Even in busy seasons, pause for a moment. Step outside. Take 5 deep breaths. Drink your coffee without scrolling on your phone. Practice single tasking. When working, focus on one thing at a time. When spending time with loved ones, put your phone away. Presence over productivity. End the day with reflection. Instead of mindlessly scrolling before bed, take a moment to check in. How did the day feel? What did you learn? What do you need tomorrow? Mindfulness is not about doing more. It's about being more aware of how you spend your time and energy. Letting go of guilt. One of the hardest things about embracing rhythms over balance is letting go of guilt. The guilt of not being available all the time. The guilt of stepping back from obligations. The guilt of choosing one priority over another. But here's the truth. You do not need to apologize for focusing on what matters most right now. You do not need to justify why your priorities look different from someone else's. You do not need to feel guilty for choosing yourself in seasons where you need to. A 2023 BBC report on work-life boundaries found that people who learn to unapologetically protect their time and focus reported greater long-term fulfillment, stronger relationships, and lower levels of stress compared to those who tried to meet everyone's expectations. BBC, 2023. The cost of overcommitment. Final thought: the freedom to live differently. If you take nothing else from this chapter, take this. Life is not about perfectly balancing everything. It is about choosing what matters in this season, being fully present in it, and giving yourself permission to shift when the time comes. If you ever see me stepping back from one area of my life to focus on another, it's not because I am failing at balance. It's because I've learned that true fulfillment doesn't come from juggling everything. It comes from being intentional about what deserves my time. And you deserve that too. Questions for reflection. What season of life are you in right now, and what does it require from you? Where are you trying to force balance instead of embracing natural rhythms? How often do you check in with yourself and your energy levels? What small mindfulness habit can you integrate into your daily routine? How can you give yourself permission to shift without guilt? A quiet invitation. This week, instead of chasing balance, try mindfulness. Focus on what matters most right now, be fully present in it, and trust that when the season changes, you will know how to shift. Because life isn't about having it all, it's about having what truly matters.